What's going on there, guys? We back with another one, and today, man, we're going to talk a little bit about Stephon Marbury and his Zion Williamson takes. Now, you remember a long time ago when Marbury first went viral on this channel, he was talking about Zion Williamson and even said he was better than LeBron James.
Zion is the truth. That's all I was trying to say. There's another one. It's okay that there's somebody better than LeBron. There's somebody okay that is. If you thought that it was okay for LeBron to be better than Jordan, why can't you believe that there's someone better than LeBron? And LeBron has flaws in his game. I mean, I don't see any flaws in Michael Jordan's game. If you can tell me something, show me. I don't see it.
So around that time, he was getting a lot of flack because Zion hadn't even played in the NBA. He hadn't played his first game, and he was injured at Duke, and he had a weight problem. So a lot of people were saying that was going to be a problem, and it has been a problem to this point. But this year, this has been his most consistent output as far as being healthy, and he's putting on some pretty good numbers, and this is the best shape he's ever been in his life. And Zion has been putting up 40-point performances, 30-point performances left and right, shooting a very high percentage. And Marbury came back to remind the internet that he actually predicted all of this. Check out what he had to say.
Look, I'm not one to say I told you so. I'm not one of them dudes. But I can remember speaking and talking about Zion in the way that people were like, yo, why would you make these type of comments? Why would you make these accusations about a kid that's in college going into the league? Why would you say all these different things about him as a basketball player when you got people on the court that have served a real purpose as far as entertaining and winning and doing all of the things that they've done? I was able to say those things because you can see those things right now. This wasn't me being clairvoyant. This was me just speaking on what I see and what I view from a basketball perspective. I think, I've played basketball at the highest level, and I know a lot of people don't like me because I say what I say and I speak my mind, and, people got their own way of how they feel about people who do speak their mind and who aren't controlled and, basically can live on their truth and speak their mind at the same time. So as people watch and they see this different human being from another space do what he's doing on the basketball court, I find it very entertaining from a perspective of hearing people all of a sudden change their whole rhythm of who they are when they speak about this guy on the basketball court. Look, it is what it is. The kid is the last letter. Z1. It's crazy.
Now, Marbury, he was one of the first people that was on the Zion train. I mean, a lot of people thought Zion was going to be the next guy based on some of his mixtapes. I always thought personally Zion was a guy that was very productive, even when you didn't run plays for him because of his athleticism and his strength. He can get great position by the basket and finish at a very high rate through contact. He also has some skills that make him unique. He has a pretty good handle for a guy his size. And if he gets beside you, he gets that shoulder past you, then he's pretty much by you completely because it's going to be hard to contest and contend with his shot because of his extreme athleticism and strength. He has struggled with certain players, namely like a Jaren Jackson Jr. or Giannis Antetokounmpo, those long players that's pretty physical and they have good timing around the rim. They take off a lot of his angles. I mean, and these are guys that they give a lot of players trouble. But for Zion to take that next step, I mean, he's only about 6'6". I think he probably needs to become a consistent jump shooter. Now, he shoots his shot from deep is kind of flat-footed, so they don't have to do hard closeouts on him, and I think that's somewhat of a liability. And it's not like it's a shot that is overly consistent. They'll live with Zion shooting from the perimeter, but also when he goes to the rim, a lot of times he'll spin back left, and someone the size with the length of Jaren Jackson Jr. and the size of Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to make that a long night. And that's not considering like Giannis has Brook Lopez beside him and Jaren Jackson has Steven Adams beside him. So they just have a big front court and guys who can contest shots that are physical. So Zion, for that next level, I feel like he needs to have well, first of all, he needs to be a great free throw shooter. At 6'6", he needs to even shoot better than a normal power forward, probably close to the 84-85% if he can. 80 will be acceptable. He's going to have to find ways to neutralize their size better, specifically shot blockers. Now, some of the thinner bigs or some of the bigs that are decent shot blockers, but they can't, play with Zion's physicality, he overpowers them a lot. But players he can't just go through, he does struggle with at this point. Now Marbury, he had a good point about Zion finally, showing what he can do. I think that's really good for the league because it wasn't like he was a bust the first few years, but he just couldn't stay on the floor. And the verdict is still out if he can stay on the floor. You know what I'm saying? This is his most consistent output at the professional level, but we still need to see more, and it's not like a I told you so moment just yet. I would like to see Zion become a better rebounder. A lot of times, he'll have, like the other night, I think he had 41 points and 5 rebounds. A guy that plays his position at his size should be grabbing at least 8 or better. 5 rebounds, I don't like that from the power forward position, especially if you are truly like a power player. That has a little bit to do with his size, but that's also like positioning and stuff like that. Me watching Zion since he was like 13, 14 years old, a lot of times when he rebounded, he just jumped over players. And sometimes when you're able to get away with that when you're young, when you have to do position rebounding as far as like boxing out and doing the fundamental things when the players are bigger than you on the floor, it can backfire a little bit. And I think that's what's happening with Zion, because at this point he does have the conditioning to compete and battle down there. He just may not have the technique. He does have some decent rebounding games, but it's up and down. He should get a consistent 8 to 10 every night, I feel like, especially with how easy he can get position on the offensive end. He should be able to establish that same position on the defensive glass. But hey, I'm not going to talk your head off on this topic no more, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree with Stephon Marbury? Has Zion Williamson officially arrived to the NBA? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.